am in the top 1%.
And that's what makes you just you and me, me. I'm in the top 1%. I'm in the top 1%. Born and bred for success, for fame, spending every top dollar, my bread, my
First of all, let me just say, even though I was excited for Lucha Underground, seeing EC3 versus Cassius Ohno was absolutely amazing. Welcome to another edition of the Game Changer, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed Nate the Effing Great, and I'm being joined here by a very special co-host, I will say. She is indeed ravishing. She is indeed stunning. She is indeed sensational. She is the Chana to my Eddie Guerrero. She is indeed SoCal Val. How's it going today?
It's going great. I have to say, I appreciate that intro for me. And that intro, as far as the music, was fantastic. It's like being in an action movie. How exciting was that?
Well, you got X-Men, you got EC3, who's making it NX3. So, honestly, can't get any better than that.
No, I feel like every show, Nate, that it becomes more and more like polished and VIP. I'm a little nervous now. The pressure's on.
The pressure is on for the governess, the Queen of California, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to check her out. I do believe that she's having a great time in Vive la France, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. I am at the Le Mans 24-hour race. I'm actually in the little town now, but every year, I've been here the last 2 years. This is my third year. It's exciting. I mean, for me personally, I don't follow a lot of motorsport, but to be here for the shopping and the food and the wine and the culture, and of course the race itself is very exciting. Patrick Dempsey's in town. It's all very, very titillating.
Oh, man. As titillating as it is, they have yet to win a war. Okay, anyway, so ladies and gentlemen.
Just throwing that out there.
I had to. Ever since my friend actually came back from Ireland, she talked about how there were these two French guys who were just acting all snotty and indifferent, and they would think like, oh, we're better than you filthy Americans. And literally I just said to her, yeah, well, next time you see them, you just tell them, when was the last time you won a war? So.
Exactly. You know what, I'll do a quick little anecdote here because I don't want to sound rude, but I'll tell you what, going into the campsite, I haven't met a lot of French people, really. I've met more Scottish and Irish and English people. And it's just funny because, you know, I always say you can't generalize. Living over in the UK, being an American, you hear a lot of people generalizing. And I'll give you an example that happened tonight. Someone that was Scottish said to me, oh, you Americans found your sarcasm. And I was like, wow, this is the kind of stuff that, you know, you just can't generalize and say to people. It's just rude. So if anyone here is ever thinking of saying, you know, oh, those Brits or those Americans, just don't do it. You know, let's all be kind. It's one world we have. Let's be nice, right? Am I right?
You're right, but I can't promise that I'll be nice.
But that's what I mean. It's one of those things like, you know, everyone just kind of gets on each other about different countries, and it's like, whatever, right?
You're right. And whatever that shall be. Ladies and gentlemen, usually we do a 1 hour long show where we talk about wrestling, but this time around I thought, let's change it up just a little bit, and let's actually do some interesting talks about, well, for me, 2018 is already halfway done. That is absolutely crazy that we're already in the month of June. Just, holy cow. And one of the things that stand out to me as far as June goes is, in fact, the movies. Now, I know that we actually talked about this before the show about, you know, what kind of movies we were talking about. One movie that you definitely mentioned that you watched was the new Solo movie. Tell us what your thoughts were about that.
You know, I have to say, I have so many different opinions on my, you know, social media and going to Comic Cons and things like that where people take it very, very, very seriously, which I don't even, you know, I understand why people would take it seriously. It's a very wonderfully, you know, rich history franchise. But for me, Solo, I wasn't really sure what to expect because I sort of like the Daisy Ridley kind of movies that are kind of in tune with the episodes. Rogue One, I thought was incredible. With Solo, I was kind of like, I know it's sort of one of those, I don't want to spoil things for people, but for example, you know, you don't have the floating letters in the beginning, so you know it's not really an episode officially of Star Wars. It's sort of a backstory. And the guy playing Han Solo, I have to tell you, I was kind of like, I don't know who this guy is. Everyone was saying, oh, he didn't look like Harrison Ford. I didn't expect him to look just like Harrison Ford, but I thought he looked enough like him. And not knowing him from Adam, I thought, you know, this guy's going to be good. He really charmed the pants off of everyone that was there. I think he just really nailed the character. I thought he was great. The story was great. I was really, really impressed. I can't say I went in there with low expectations, but I just didn't know what to expect. I kept an open mind, and I thought it was absolutely so much fun and a great movie.
Well, you and I had a difference of opinion because I went in with very low expectations. I thought, well, okay, they're doing another spin-off of Star Wars. This ought to be probably disastrous. I mean, people have definitely been giving their opinions about Rogue One, and they're not exactly very merciful. I mean,
Right.
Return of the Jedi, not Return of the Jedi, The Last Jedi, there we go. That one has gotten a lot of flack from audiences, but critics loved it. I loved it. Solo,
I loved it, yeah.
Solo, like I said, I had low expectations going in, but I remember feeling a lot of nostalgia for a lot of things when they introduced a lot of the characters. They introduced, Chewbacca, they introduced Lando, introduced a lot of these characters that you're familiar with, and nostalgia's there. And even after nostalgia wore off, I can honestly say, leaving the theater, I was thoroughly impressed. And there were even more questions leaving my head than when I went in, because it was like, well, is this movie going to bomb or is it going to be really good? And then literally it's like, well, now I need to know more about this character. I need to know more about this storyline. Obviously, I'm not going to go into spoilers. If you guys want to know my review on it, go check it out on my review page. It's like I said, it's absolutely amazing. As far as like one of the best movies I've seen this year, I wouldn't really go that far, because I've already gone on debates on earlier shows stating that right now I'm very torn between two different movies, and that being Avengers and Deadpool 2. Both of them were absolutely amazing. It really gets your emotions just on. It just really finds a way to get your emotions just tugged every single bit, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm a Marvel fan. I'm a Marvel geek. What can I say? Honestly,
I think it's cool that you touched on the fact that you want your emotions to be not played with, but tugged at, because you want to feel something when you see a movie. It's like when you go to see a show or a play or whatever. Or even music. I at least want to be moved by something. And personally, I have to say the first Deadpool, I was not a big fan of. I found it very campy and a little too silly, if I'm very, very honest.
Really?
I know people hate that I say that, especially at Comic-Con. But I have to say, I need to go back and watch it again, because I think Ryan Reynolds is great. I think he's funny, his timing is great, he's witty. But the first one I didn't love. I need to watch it again, because I need to give it another chance. Because the first round that I saw it, I was kind of like, not really a big fan. Avengers I haven't even seen yet, which I know is crazy. But I love all the other movies. I did try to watch the most recent Avengers Marvel-ish movie I tried to watch. Marvelous, I should say. Haha. Hashtag Marvelous. Is Black Panther. And I was trying to watch it on the way from London to Orlando, Florida, my hometown. And there were so many babies on the plane. It was like, there were kids with streamers of toilet paper running down the aisles like it was damn Mardi Gras. It was a weird-ass plane ride. A lot of those Orlando trips are very kid-centric. So it was a little too loud and crazy and chaotic to watch and pay attention to Black Panther, which I feel like it really deserves a lot of respect and attention to detail. And I watched about half of it, but I had to turn it off. So I wonder, I'll ask you, do I need to see the rest of Black Panther and all of the Marvel movies to appreciate Avengers? Because I've seen Thor Ragnarok, and I've seen half of Black Panther. I mean, say it's someone new to Marvel. What do they need to see to appreciate the new Avengers movie?
There is a lot of these movies that definitely do need to be seen. I believe that somebody actually said if you watched one of the Marvel movies a week all the way at the beginning of the year, then you would make it all the way to Infinity War. As far as which movies really you would need to watch, if you watched a lot of the original movies like Iron Man, Captain America, definitely would hit Spider-Man Homecoming on there. Thor Ragnarok definitely does set the stage for what Infinity War would be. As far as Black Panther goes, it's kind of one of those movies that it doesn't really touch base on what's going on into Infinity War, but still one of those movies where you have to watch it to kind of understand what goes on during Infinity War, because there is a scene in there where they go to a place where a lot of people might be like, well, what is this place? It's like, well, you have to watch Black Panther in order to understand what this place is. So, I would definitely suggest watching Black Panther all the way. That way you at least understand not only kind of like where they're coming from with Black Panther, but you also get to see a lot of the cool gadgets that they have, a lot of the background story that they have, a lot of new characters that you probably will look at Infinity War and be like, oh, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? And then you'll be like, oh, after you see Black Panther, you'll be like, okay, this is this person, this is this person. Okay, now I understand.
Yeah, there's a lot to keep up with, isn't there, as far as like knowing who people are, why they're there, all that.
Yeah, it is kind of important to watch as many Marvel movies as you can, but like I said, Black Panther is definitely one of those you hit the nail on the head with. I will say this, that one of the things I loved about both movies was Josh Brolin, who played Thanos as well as Cable in Deadpool 2. God help me, I literally said this, that he is probably the one person that I've seen in 1 month have two of the best roles of probably his entire career. A lot of people might remember him for earlier deals. The only other movie I remember seeing him was Men in Black 3, and that was it. And then I just saw him as Thanos. I'm like, okay, this guy knows how to do.
No, he's always great. He's such a manly actor. You know, it's funny because his dad, right, James Brolin, was just in one of the newer episodes of Will and Grace, like kind of a reboot of Will and Grace. And it's so funny how much they look alike. But obviously, he's got Hollywood, acting talent in his blood. He's amazing in everything that I've seen of him.
Yeah, and these are definitely two movies that you'll definitely appreciate Josh Brolin in as well. I think that, with the second one, you'll see him have a little bit more of a serious... I basically said to a lot of people, I said, Josh Brolin today is what Arnold Schwarzenegger was with Terminator back in the day, and this will come as a shock to a lot of people. I just watched Terminator 1, 2, and 3 a couple weeks ago. Loved the first one, really loved the second one, and then we got to the third one, and it's like, wow, I could start seeing where it went downhill.
The third one is with Kristanna Loken, is that right? The female Terminator?
Oh my God, I had such high hopes for her, literally.
It's funny you said that. I was actually just with her at a Comic-Con in Birmingham about a week and a half ago.
Really?
And I met her at a different signing. Yeah, she's really, really lovely. And I was trying to explain to people that weren't sure what she was from, how lovely she is, how great she was in the movie. But yeah, it's one of those things that the film couldn't really save that. I remember liking it, but obviously the first Terminator is just, first and second are so good.
Yeah, for a lot of people that don't know who she is, she was the only girl in Terminator 3 that showed her butt. Let's just say that right now. I mean, of course, a lot of people will say, like, well, don't all the Terminators basically show their butt and show their... It's like, yeah, but let's just face it. That was, for me, just seeing that, I was like, okay, this is probably the only good thing about this movie, is that you get to see the female Terminator from behind. And then they talked about the scene... My friend Max was just talking about the scene where she basically just makes her breasts look bigger just to... basically just get one of the cops to let her off like a warning. Yeah. It was one of those things where it's like, really? Do you really think that our human being, generation is divulged to that? I'm literally just like, yeah, dude, let's face it, there are a lot of guys out there that are just like...
Of course it is. Let's not, it's funny, it's one of those women's movement things. It's like, oh, is that degrading? It's like, yeah, but it worked, and of course it would work nowadays. People are people,
Just because women know how to take advantage of a situation doesn't mean that it's degrading to them. It's just one of those things where it just proves that women are smarter than men. I mean,
and she's a damn robot.
That is true.
So, you're not going to hold it against her, are we? She could kick our ass at any given moment.
That is true. Oh, man. I am definitely not going to bash her on that because I do not want her coming after me. I also don't want... oh, gosh. I'm trying to remember the second villain's one because I remember seeing him and I was just like, oh, dude, that's Roland from the Marine. That's right. And he's still just as charming, as witty as he was during that movie.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
I forgot his name, but yeah.
I don't remember either. I know I can picture him.
But, gosh, again, when it comes to a lot of the movies this year, there have been some really good ones, and then there's some where I'm just like, wow, I wasted my time watching this. Why? I mean, the recent one that I did, and I had mentioned this before, that it's still one of those things I'm hesitant on, especially since the theater company Blumhouse is behind the new Michael Myers movie. The last movie I saw that made me just shake my head was Truth or Dare. I watched that movie, I'm just like, wow, this is really predictable, isn't it? And then the ending, I'm just like, okay, they're basically dooming the Earth. Wow, so instead of basically saving the world and just doing the selfless thing and just, killing this thing internally, that you're just going to have everybody else suffer the same fate. Bravo ending, Blumhouse. Just great. Just absolutely great job. It just... It's just one of those movies, again, I just shook my head. I'm like, wow, I wasted like $7.
And you feel like you wasted your time. Yeah, no, I agree. It's not a new movie, but for goodness sake, I was watching a movie called Area 51. And it was like they took the idea of the Blair Witch Project and ran with it like way too late where everyone knows it's fake. And I would have respected them more if they didn't insult our intelligence and make it kind of seem like like as if they're filming the whole movie with their phone. That got so annoying, and it was so bad. I was later told that the movie took $5 million to make or something, and then it made $7,000 at the box office, something horrible. It was abysmal. God bless the actors in it trying to make it work, but it was so bad. And when you see a bad movie, it's just like, even if it's Netflix and you're just chilling at home, it's like, oh, did I really waste my time on that?
Well, I mean, they still get like a small marginal profit, but it's not one of those things where it's just like, well, I just wasted like all this money on that. No, it's like you only wasted like $14 a month. Well, hey, there's something else good on here. Let's see here. We got Open House. Let's watch this. Oh, wow, this was terrible. What else do we have on here? Ghostbusters? Yep, I'll watch the original Ghostbusters. Thank you very much.
Oh, I love the last Ghostbusters. I always had this conversation with people because I was like, I don't know if it's going to be good. And then the last one, I really, really enjoyed it.
What's really funny is that I think I went on a joking tangent with my friend where I basically just went off on this and just saying, like, everything there just looked really dumb, looked really cheesy, and Chris Hemsworth, you were Thor in Marvel Universe, you did a great job in Thor Ragnarok. Thor 1 was okay, let's not talk about Thor 2, because, let's face it, that was how that even got into theaters.
That one was kind of weird, wasn't it?
It just...
Thor 2.
It is one of those things that does make me kind of scratch my head a bit. I think I was talking to my friend a little bit more during the movie, and it was one of those few times I got shushed, rightfully so, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, the people that are talking how are having a better conversation to this movie, when you reach that point, this movie is not worth it.
Right.
I think the last time I had that was the horror movie The Bye-Bye Man. Literally, I was just like, oh, okay, this looks actually really good. I watched it, and then there were some kids in there. They were talking throughout it. I'm just like, dude, shut up. I'm trying to actually watch this. 30 minutes in, I'm just like, wow, your conversation is more better than this movie right here. Please, tell me about your daily life or what you had for breakfast this morning.
Which is saying it all, isn't it? It's like, oh, God, if I'm more interested in what's going on around me than the actual film, that's a bad sign.
It really is a bad sign. And you also mentioned one thing that really does kind of hit it when it comes to movies. I really do hate when they do that whole first-person perspective deal where they do it from their phones or it's like lost footage. I mean, every now and then for them to do the lost footage, that's fine. But when you're making an entire movie out of it, it's like that ship sailed a long time ago when they did Blair Witch Project and when they also did Paranormal Activity 1 and 2. Which, ironically enough, was done by Blumhouse. It's like, okay, so they had a couple good ones. They also did The Purge. Okay. They also did this. Okay, I get it. They had a couple good hits. But they still have some really bad ones out there.
Yeah, that doesn't erase the horribly bad ones that were just a complete, complete typo in terms of film history. Typo.
Or as we like to say in wrestling, a complete botch when it comes to a deal.
Yeah, like botchamania. A cluster, if you will.
Oh, man. And one of the best movies that I saw this year, and I'm still stating true to this, that it deserves an Oscar nomination for its brilliance, was A Quiet Place. It's a really good thriller. It's a good kind of horror-ish movie. But the thing is that throughout this entire movie, about like 95% of the communication is done through sign language. It's absolutely amazing. And I don't know how much of a fan you are of The Office, Val.
I do like The Office. I've heard so many good things about this film, but I've yet to see it. I was kind of afraid it would be too scary, but if it's not super gory or super horror, I think I'd probably love it.
I wouldn't say it's super gory. There may be some moments where you might jump, but it's not one of those things where you're going to be like scared 24/7. Like, what's a movie that just came out? Oh, Hereditary. Yeah, that's right. That one I'm dreading to go into, but it's like I think I need to see it just to see what this all hype is about.
Bring a blankie or something.
I feel like just like a blankie, not a John Cena blankie. Let's face it, that's never going to happen. But no, the guy who played Jim in The Office was also the director for A Quiet Place, and literally I'm just like, what, are you serious? So you mean to tell me that Jordan Peele, who is a comedy mastermind, created Get Out, and he won an Oscar rightfully for, I think, Best Directing, if I'm not mistaken, and now we have another comedic genius in Jim, who created A Quiet Place, which is honestly one of the best, if not the best film of 2018 by far. There's some other people that would say otherwise. For me, that's the one that I'm saying, you know what, give this thing an Oscar. If it's for Best Picture, I'm okay with that. If Jim,
I'm so glad that you mentioned Jordan Peele because I'm a big fan of the show Key and Peele, and I always thought that they were both so brilliant. And actually, Jordan more so a little more than Michael Key. But I think they're both really, really smart guys. And it's like, yeah, they had a sketch comedy show. You can't discredit it just being something comedic. They were writing everything. Their comedic timing and their wit is just astounding. So I'm so glad you mentioned him. I think he's amazing.
Jordan Peele is definitely something else. But it's really weird because the combo of Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele is just absolutely amazing. It's one of the best comedy duos of this generation. People still talk about a lot of their sketches, like the one where they're basically talking about their wives, or that they're just basically seeing like, oh, man up. I said they're just looking everywhere. They're just like, bitch, I'm the man of the house, and they're just like,
they're hilarious, yeah.
And even a lot of people still love the Keegan-Michael Key film where he's basically doing roll call for high school, and he's getting everybody's names wrong. Just absolutely amazing. Just Jaqueline. Is Jaqueline here? You mean Jacqueline?
That's a good one.
It's just so good. Oh my gosh.
There's one where they're football. Actually, they kept redoing where they're football players. They just have ridiculous names, and it's just them dressed up as like a million different people. They're so smart. It's such a funny, easy to watch show. I love them.
Oh, that's right. I actually do remember that sketch. That one. That's right. They just came in with just random gimmicks or random people. It's like, wow, they're really going to have like multiple personality disorder when they get on the field, aren't they?
My favorite ever is Wendell, and it's a character played by Jordan Peele. And he's this big guy that's kind of like nerdy, and he's in his room, and he calls for Chinese or Domino's or whatever pizza. And if you've never seen it, if you want to see one specific sketch that actually like illustrates how funny they are, it's called Wendell's New Bed. And if you look up Wendell's New Bed, I think it's the funniest thing they've ever done. It's so hilarious.
I think I know which character that is. He was the guy who's basically just got like a bunch of mini action figures right around him, and he's just making
that's him.
He's just like,
he's like a recurring character. He's so good.
Oh man, Key and Peele, you guys are just a gift from God, and we don't deserve your comedy, but thank you so much for giving us that privilege to watch it.
Shout out.
Definitely a shout out. Oh, and speaking of shout outs, I definitely do want to say this, that one of my friends over at King of the Ring podcast, yes, I'm doing a plug for them, and they're awesome. Go check them out.
Cheap plug.
Right? Dusty Dave, he actually heard that I was going to be doing this show with you, and I thought that it would be cool that if I did a shout out to him, and also from him to you, that he just says, hey, how you doing?
How you doing? Dusty Dave, what's up? That's so sweet.
So Dusty Daves, don't say I never did anything for you.
The dustier the better. That's what I always say.
Oh my gosh, that is going to be a good post somewhere. Oh man,
it's a hashtag.
It's going to be a hashtag, just like Boy Howdy was a hashtag for a while.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Almost
that is legit. Your legit like your catchphrase. It was so great because it came out of nowhere. It wasn't a planned catchphrase. It was just innate, Nate, if you will.
Oh, you mean Nate is in Nate Luis Grunman?
Yeah, of course. I don't want to use your full name. I don't want to embarrass you, but we could go there.
Oh man, honestly, that was one of those moments that I was just absolutely shocked by. I was just like, well, okay, that's not my middle name, but that's actually one of the funniest things I think I will ever hear is just hearing the name Luis.
Weirdly enough, I did that a lot, and I was at Comic-Con with Matt Nicholson. We were all hanging out at the hotel bar, and I kept saying, okay, Louise. And he was like, after a while, he was like, why do I like the name Louise now? I'm like, I don't know. I've said it enough now that Matt Nicholson even thinks it's pretty cool. So it's just one of those great names. It just fits with everything.
It seems to. I'm really starting to feel it now. It's one of those things where it's like, Louise. Yep, it's gonna stick. It's gonna stick, and she's doing her job. She's making it stick.
Doing all I can. What can I say?
And it's really crazy to think that we've been actually doing shows together for about almost 3 years now, actually. Because oh my gosh, I think I do remember the first time actually contacting you. I think it was either this month or in July. I just started thinking, well, let's just see what happens. I really liked SoCal Val when she was in TNA. maybe there's a chance that she'll want to be on the show, and maybe there's
now look how much more amazing the show has gotten. Like I even say with even the intro and things like that, it's amazing how much polish and professionalism, it's, as we grow and do it more. I think that's so cool. And now we're integrating some movies into it, which I think is really nice. I love it. It
is absolutely awesome. We talk about wrestling, we talk about movies, talk about whatever we really want. And, oh my gosh, I do have a funny story I have to tell about the first time Val and I actually did a podcast together. I remember, I think you either called me or you messaged me, and I basically was either exhausted or I was tired from work. I just remember thinking, okay, I gotta get up. And she's like, okay, ready when you are. Can we postpone it for about an hour? And you were just so professional about it. You're just like, oh yeah, that's no problem. I'll call back in about an hour. And you did, and it was just one of those things where it's like, wow, my view of her has definitely changed a lot. She's definitely not one of those people that seems like she could be mean. She's a genuine sweetheart.
And that's so nice. Thank you.
ever since then, it's just been like, still genuine sweetheart. Okay, she's getting on my nerves. Okay, she called me Luis. What's going on here? We're getting too buddy.
She's used my middle name.
Well, supposed middle name. I'm not going to reveal it for everybody here because then everybody's going to start saying it, and then it's just going to be like, well, we could thank Val for that reveal. Thank you very much. Oh, man. All right, so I think a lot of people are ready to hear our thoughts and our predictions going into NXT TakeOver Chicago 2, as well as Money in the Bank. And, of course, you guys, we like to have a little bit of fun with this. For me, I'm actually going to do an interesting punishment for my side, and I think you might enjoy this more than I will. So the punishment for me is that if I lose to you during this entire weekend for the month of July, you get to pick a hairstyle, a hair color that I have to rock out and I have to just deal with for one full month. How does that sound to you?
I've already got it in my head. I'm going to need a selfie when I win.
God damn it. Oh, boy, this is going to be fun. If she's already got this in her head, she has been concocting like some crazy ideas like, how can I make Nate's life more interesting? Oh, maybe he'll ask about a hair deal. Oh, here we go. I already know. So,
oh gosh, for me, what can I... I'm trying to think, but I can do... I'm just so not prepared for losing, That's just the story of my life.
Well, let's go through the predictions, and then maybe if you think out of something. Otherwise, we'll just have something. Okay. We'll just have something planned out before July. Either way.
Cool.
All right. So NXT Takeover Chicago, which is actually turning out to be a really good card. Starting off with the NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler defending against Nikki Cross. And first of all, I want to say that I love this rivalry. This is like my favorite women's rivalry right now, next to Rosemary and Sue Young in Impact Wrestling. But right now, Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross, just the build-up has been great, and I'm looking forward to seeing these two just tear it down in Chicago. So let's start with you, Val. Shayna Baszler and Nikki Cross. Who have you got and why?
It's one of those things, like Shayna Baszler is not my type of a wrestler, I kind of don't go for the more serious types, just generally over the many years of watching wrestling, but she obviously has proven herself and she's made me a fan. But I will say that Nikki Cross, having worked with her in person and having seen her on the UK scene, I know more of her history and more of what she's capable of and how hard she's trained, how hard she's worked, and what a nice girl she is. So for me personally, I think having that background of Nikki Cross in the UK, I have to go with her because I think she's just so unorthodox, and so she's unorthodox at the same time. She's such a veteran of the business and has been in it for so long. I would love to see her take it home.
Oh, man. And I honestly got one of the favorite moments of this rivalry is her just screaming at Shayna Baszler, do it! Do it! Do it! She's just daring Shayna Baszler just to come at her. I love that. And I'm just like, Nikki Cross, you are legitimately like too good for us to even handle. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to disagree with you, and I'm going to go with Shayna Baszler with the retain. I just think that right now this could be Nikki Cross's last match before she gets pulled up to the main roster. They already pulled up Sanity. Why they haven't put them on TV, I have no idea. Maybe they're just waiting for Nikki Cross to show up. She kind of does complete the faction, I'm not going to lie. So, but, I mean, they've had times where they've called up people from the NXT roster, and they still have people working from NXT to the main roster, so I don't get why they didn't do that. Anyway, I'm getting too
That's a
deep into
valid
it.
point, though. I will give you that. That yeah, maybe it's time for her to kind of move on and settle some scores on the main roster.
Oh gosh, Nikki Cross versus Iconics would be absolutely amazing. Just
Yeah, I love them. I think they're fantastic.
And then we get the rematch: Asuka versus Nikki Cross. Book it now, WWE. All right.
You know they're listening. You know they are. Hi, Vince.
Oh gosh, they're like one of the few people that probably do. All right, so we have the dream matchup between Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. So for this one, this was one of the ones I'm really torn up about because as soon as it got announced, I'm like, okay, this looks really good. And then the promos and then everything they've done, I just look at this and I think, no, this is not fair. Why can't we have both of them win somehow? But if I have to go with one of them, I'm going with Prince Puma. I'm going with King Ricochet. I think that he just needs that big-time win. I think that Velveteen Dream, even in defeat, he's going to look like a major star.
Oh, see, I'm actually surprised. No one's surprised by this. Who are we kidding? I'm actually going to go the other direction because I love Ricochet. I think he's amazing. He's, I have to say, when it comes to Ricochet, as far as people that have never watched wrestling, I've got so many people that are newbies to wrestling, never seen it before. When they go to a show, especially in the UK, if Ricochet is on the card, especially, and then I would say the only other person that matches that is Ospreay if he's on the card. Sometimes Zack Sabre Jr., but he's not around as much, to be fair. They make wrestling fans out of anyone because they are that good. Ricochet is that amazing, that incredible in the ring. It just defies all odds. You feel like you didn't see what you just saw. It's amazing. But Velveteen Dream, I love I love a flamboyant character. I think he needs to win a little bit more, and I think it would be really exciting for him to see him win. So I'm going to go with Velveteen Dream.
All right. So far, I think this is one of the first few times that we actually have had this many opposites when it came to this. But you know what? It's one of those matches where you and I both can agree we're both winners in the end because this is going to be an awesome matchup. So
we're both winners. You're right, except for you.
What? Wow. Always humble. SoCal Val, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm so magnanimous.
Next matchup we have is for the NXT Tag Team Championship. It's going to be the Undisputed Eras. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong defending against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. SoCal Val, who have you got and why?
Danny Burch, I'm happy to see him back in NXT. I've worked with Evolve. He was at Martin Stone, is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's great, but I have to go with Roderick and Kyle. I mean, they just are such a cohesive unit. They're best friends. They make a much more impressive tag team, in my opinion, with no disrespect to the others.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you. Undisputed Era, they're going to walk away as champions. So we move on to
They're riding a sort of good wave right now as well. I feel like momentum is a big deal in wrestling. I think it matters.
Yeah, I think that they finally gave Roderick Strong a really good group of people to work with, and I think that now people are just looking at him and it's like he's not this bland babyface anymore. It's like, oh, he's actually really good. It's like I've never doubted his wrestling ability. He's absolutely amazing. But I think that people were really tired of his like cool babyface character. It kind of reminds you of like Chris Jericho in WCW. He's just this guy who's just kind of smiling and happy. And the only other time he was probably really taken seriously was during his feud with Bobby Roode, which I would have loved to have seen him and Roderick Strong continue going at it. And
that was a little more short-lived, wasn't it? I've said this on the show before. I mean, Roderick, who I worked with since I was barely 16 years old, he has always been that good. It's like a thing where he progressed to this wonderful athlete at 16. Well, actually, I was 16. He was probably about 18 or so, 19. He has always been that polished and that talented in the ring. He's always been that good. It's just in his innate character to be that amazing in the ring. So, it's not something that's just like he's evolved. I mean, he's evolved. He's grown up quite a bit, but he's always been so amazing. Even on the Florida Indies, you go back and watch him in like IPW, hardcore, out of Tampa where he started, and NWA Florida, where that's where kind of we both started. He had a little run at TNA as well, but he's just always been amazing, really.
Yeah, no, I definitely do agree with you, and I think that he's definitely going to be one of those guys to look after into the next few years. I think that he's going to be one of those guys that a lot of people are going to not give him credit for, but he's definitely going to be one of those guys to look out for.
Right.
All right, so we have the NXT Championship match. We have Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan. Again, another really good build between the two of them. But Lars, sorry, dude, I'm giving it to the man with the kick. Tommy and Aleister Black, I got to give it to him. I just think that it's time for Lars' undefeated streak, quote-unquote, to end. And Aleister Black needs to continue to be in champion right now. I think that he's making that title interesting, and he's definitely going to be one of those guys that you need to look out for in the next few years. I don't think they're going to have him drop the title at least till, I want to say maybe like, I don't know if I want to say WrestleMania weekend, maybe SummerSlam weekend for all we know, but Aleister Black is one of those guys you definitely need to watch. From his debut, I fell in love with him. His entrance is amazing. And if you need like a major 5-star match quality deal, watch the match between him and Velveteen Dream, and you will not be disappointed.
I actually watched that pay-per-view, and it was the most show-stealing match I've seen in probably years. And to his credit, Aleister, hashtag Tommy, has been on the scene for quite a while. He's been involved with us for a while, and he's just absolutely, just one of those guys that's so impressive. Again, if you're not a wrestling fan, you watch him and you go, wow, he's got such stage presence and such ability, and his kicks and things. He's really, really interesting and entertaining to watch. I have to agree with you, as much as it pains me. I have to agree and say it's got to be Aleister Black. I think we'd be silly to root for anyone but him.
No, I definitely agree with that. And now, of course, we got what is probably more than likely, and honestly deservedly so, the main event, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in a Chicago street fight. Who have you got and why?
Definitely Gargano. Not only because I've worked with him more, and I know him more, I feel like Ciampa, I haven't always felt like he resonated with me, with all due respect. It's one of the wrestlers that I just kind of, I feel like he's a little forgettable, and maybe that's harsh to say, but that's just me being very honest. Gargano, I feel like, is somebody who really plays his character well, is a very genuine person, and that's like what the fans appreciate, has worked his ass off in the indies. I'm sure Ciampa has as well, but to me, I'm more of a Gargano fan. I feel like he's more memorable, and Ciampa is somebody who I just kind of go, yeah, he's aggressive, but I don't find much that sets him apart, if I'm very honest.
Well, then you're not going to like my opinion. I'm going to go with Ciampa on this one. I just think that they are going to go down the line, and maybe they're going to have one more matchup between the two of them, and it's going to happen at probably NXT Takeover New York or something like that. Whatever they have for SummerSlam planned. But I just think that Ciampa's going to pick up the victory. Gargano had a really good matchup with Ciampa in NXT Takeover New Orleans. It's going to be hard to see if these guys can top that, but somehow I think that they will be. And the crazy thing is that during that show, I'll be on the ground level seeing that, so I will probably see these guys fighting right in front of me. I'll just be like, yeah, Psycho Killer, no.
Update us while you're there. You gotta make sure you update us on social media and make sure that you're sharing, because that's an amazing thing you're going to have. And not only that, but whether you like Gargano or Ciampa, they both have the ability to carry that match and have it be amazing. So, kudos to both, honestly.
Oh, definitely do agree on that. All right, so now we can go on to Money in the Bank. It happens once a year, and it is indeed going to be an ultimate opportunity for a lot of people, but only 2 will get contracts. So let's start off with the pre-show matchup when we have Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson taking on SoCal Val's favorite team, the bumbling bearded brothers, the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan. And I want to say this. I was very tempted to have like the Bludgeon Brothers theme music play as the start, but I thought to myself, I think I could be mean to Val, but I think today I'll give her a pass. I mean, she hasn't really done anything to
talk about the opposite of a memorable wrestler, memorable tag team. With all due respect, I'm sure they're nice people, but it's not somebody I'd ever look forward to seeing, either one of them. And I can't believe the name they gave them. I mean, it's not their fault, but Bludgeon Brothers, it's so retro in like a bad way. And I usually love a vintage feel, but God bless them. I mean, whoever they're facing ever, I'm never going to vote for them. I'm not a fan at all.
So, in that case, you're going to be going with the Good Brothers then, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Yes, I love them as well. They're an amazing tag team. They're very cohesive. I would go with them anyway, but especially against them.
I mean, they're really good, and I think right now that if anybody probably could make the Bludgeon Brothers look good in the ring, I think it's going to have to be the Good Brothers. But I think I'm going to have to go with my bearded bros, the Bludgeon Brothers, for the win. And I don't think it's going to end here. I think this is going to be one of those matches that is probably going to last, one of those feuds that's going to last a while. I really think that Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows can make Harper and Rowan a better team. And it's one of those matches where if they would have just kept him as like the Wyatt family gimmick, that would have been awesome. Bring back the Harper and Rowan that faced off against the Usos years ago. Bring those guys back. And
they had more fire back then, I feel like. You know, I think they're a little bit... Maybe it's not their fault, it's a booking thing, I don't know, but they seem a little more lost.
Probably. All right, so we go on to the main card. We'll start off with Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. He's 7 foot tall, and he cannot stop reminding us of that. And unfortunately, I'm going with Big Cass on this one. They already gave Daniel Bryan the victory at Backlash. I think that they need to give Big Cass the victory here and just kill this rivalry on a SmackDown. Don't put it on SummerSlam or Extreme Rules. Make it a big-time SmackDown match. So I'm going with Mr. Hey, I'm 7 feet tall. Shut up, Big Cass.
Yeah, we know. Not only do we know, we can see it. I'm going to agree with you there because I feel like, you know, it's one of those things that I like Big Cass. You know, he's had a little, I think he's struggled to kind of talk on his own without Enzo, and he's improved so much. But I've always thought that he had the talent for it. And but at the same time, Daniel Bryan is just such a confusing entity right now. It's like, me kind of dabbling in watching and not watching. It's like, okay, you're telling me he's injured, then he just goes away forever, then he comes back, then he's a general manager. I was like, wait, no, I'm not retiring, I'm not injured. What's going? To me, I mean, I don't know if it's medically based or whatever, but I just kind of feel like sometimes the wrestlers seem to do this thing where it's like they want to retire, or they want to have, they want to have controversy, and whether it's medically cleared or not, I just don't understand the whole roller coaster of his recovery and trying to freak us out that he's, had all these problems. I find it very, very confusing. And now the problem is, too, is he's in that world of total divas with the whole, don't even get me started on the Nikki Bella, John Cena thing, where reality is so blurred. So it's like, what part of that was real? Did he really think he could never wrestle again? Was it a storyline? I don't know what to believe these days, but it's very confusing. I don't really appreciate that, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't understand either, and I've already vented my frustrations about the Nikki Bella John Cena deal, so it's just like we're moving on from that.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get on to another matchup that people are probably excited for. Bobby Lashley taking on Sami Zayn. God, these two deserve so much more, and the build-up here, other than that obstacle course, this has been one of those build-ups where it's just like, wow, this match could be really good, but no. Like I said, if Bobby Lashley whips out the Dominator during this matchup, I'm talking about like how Farouk did, that inverted power slam. If he did that during the matchup, then I would be fine. I'd be like, okay, I'm back on the Lashley wagon. This is great. Don't do that stalling vertical suplex.
I agree with you. I feel like it feels a little forced. It feels a little weird. And I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley because I feel like he needs the win more. I mean, Sami Zayn has been through a lot with WWE, and Bobby Lashley's still kind of, he's still kind of on his Bambi legs coming back to WWE. Obviously, he's done great, but I think he needs the win. I think he needs to be back to the fiery Bobby that we all love. So I'm going to go with Lashley for sure.
I'll make it interesting. I'm going to go with Sami Zayn. Maybe he'll pick up a victory via shenanigans. He'll probably grab the tights, use the ropes. I love heel Sami Zayn, and I'm really hoping that they actually do something good with him. But it probably will not happen this Sunday. Let's just see what happens. Sammy, just get your big victory. You can't just get your big victory, and let's hope that you're not just remembered as the guy who beat Kevin Owens out of Battleground. Which, by the way, that was also awesome. Check that out.
Right.
And another matchup that everybody's excited for. Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. God help me, why? Just why? It feels like every single card, I'm trying to find a way to be like, okay, this is a step forward. This is a step forward. Nope, just fell down the stairs. Gonna try again. Nope, broke a leg. Gonna try and crawl up the stairs now. Nope, broke the other leg.
That's what I think is so great about you, Nate, is that you stay hopeful and you hope that they're gonna do the right thing,
Yeah, all right.
What you can do as a wrestling fan, right? It's what I do. I kind of hope, I hope they're going to use somebody correctly, or I hope they're going to, make this worth somebody's while. They do something stupid, and it's like, oh no, what are you doing?
Yeah. So for this one, I am going to go with, Jinder Mahal on this one. I think right now Roman still is at a point where WWE is not really very hopeful with him. I think they're still at the point where they're kind of giving up on the Roman project, even though people are rumoring, it's going to be Roman and Brock at SummerSlam again. Add Seth Rollins, for the love of God, please. Just changed it up just a little bit.
Guy in there.
But I think that.
Running.
But I think that if anybody deserves it more right now, I'm going to give it to Jinder Mahal for this one.
You know, I love Jinder Mahal. I feel like he's one of those guys that Roman Reigns is a very polarizing figure, and I've always loved Roman Reigns, but I understand people's grievances with him. Now, Jinder Mahal, I really don't understand when people can't understand his popularity and his drive and all that. I am a huge fan of his as well, so I would like to say I like Roman Reigns in this particular matchup, but I'm going to go with Jinder Mahal as well. I think you're right. I think this win for him is more important. I think, Roman Reigns hopefully it won't be a huge deal, but he is fizzling out a bit in terms of popularity. And, try as he may, they can't seem to get that crowd turned around for him. So I'm going to go with Jinder Mahal. I think he's a really strong character that's very, very underrated. Very underrated.
Speaking of crowds, I think I feel tempted to take a video of just the entrances of these guys coming out and just how Chicago is just going to eat them alive. I just feel like you have two guys who nobody seems to really get along with, and the fans are just going to be like, nope, none of these guys. I guarantee there's going to be one person that's going to just say, none of these guys. I even made the joke where it's just like, both these guys, and then there's that one person who goes, suck, both these guys suck, these guys suck. It's like, this is going to happen.
We get scared for everything, don't we? Because that Chicago crowd is absolutely lethal. They pull no punches, so you're right. The entrances alone, forget the match, the entrances is what we're going to want to see.
This is going to be a massacre, and it's not even going to be in the ring. It's going to be on the outside with the people.
Oh,
so
I feel bad for them. That's horrible.
I know, but at the same time, I feel like it's going to be one of the funniest moments of the entire night. But we'll see. All right, so I think we're at the point.
It depends what they're going to place it on the card. Sorry to interrupt, but I feel like it's one of those things, they got to place it correctly, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they start it off, then I think people are going to be like, okay, it's going to get better from here. That's the good news.
I hope so.
All right, so I think we're down to our final quote-unquote exciting matchup here, and that is for
the Final Frontier?
Good callback, but no, unfortunately.
Star Trek episode? Let's do it.
We'll maybe have to do that. I think that's going to be an interesting episode to do.
We need a Star Wars podcast, Nate. I'm not even joking.
I think we're definitely going to need to talk about that. Maybe we'll have to do that next year. Let us know what you guys think. Let Val know. Let me know. What do you guys think about a Star Wars podcast? But getting back to the card, the SmackDown Women's Championship, we have Carmella, the screamer of everything, against Asuka, who can literally kick everybody's head off. Are we both in agreement on Asuka?
Oh, no. It's funny you say
Really?
that. No, I'm pro Carmella, but you take the floor, Nate. Go ahead and try to explain to me why Asuka is more exciting than Carmella.
Because Asuka's amazing, and Asuka can basically kill anybody with just a look. I want to see Carmella try and super kick, and then Asuka does that deal where she holds her chin and she just looks back at her and smiles and says, "Oh, you done did it now, lady." And she just basically pops Carmella's head off with that Asuka lock.
How do you say you done did it now in Japanese? Can anyone let us know that's listening right?
I'm very curious now. I'm probably gonna have to look that up after the show's over. But
did we mention that we're sponsored by Google Translate?
Google Translator, make us a sponsor, please, by all means. There's so many things.
That, but being in France, I've had to use it quite a bit. No, honestly, Asuka is really, really amazing. I think she's fabulous. I think she's a beautiful woman. I think she's just absolutely a force to be reckoned with in the ring, which is funny because when you look at her, she's such a pretty, smiley, beautiful lady. And, she's so colorful. Her entrance is so much fun for everyone. And then, holy moly, is she terrifying. She really, when I first saw her in NXT, I was like, oh, she seems nice. She's got a little suit on. She moves very well. She's very cute. Holy moly. I mean, I don't want to use a curse word here, and I won't, but cream and sugar, that's malarkey. What can I say? Excuse my language. She is very, very impressive in terms of athleticism and just sheer aggression, really. But I've always loved Carmella. I think Carmella is one of those girls that's the total package. Looks, brains, in terms of how she's social media savvy and how she brands her character, her ability in the ring, her charisma, her sheer charisma in terms of like NXT, even just going and watching her as a manager. She's just such a star, and I've said that many times online. So I have to go with Carmella.
All right, well, I'm hoping that I'm right about that one, but we'll see. There's always a time where hell freezes over and she's right about some things, so...
Put your jacket on.
So we move on to the next matchup. We have the Raw Women's Championship, Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. Who have you got?
Do I have to pick?
That torn, huh?
No. That uninterested. I am totally not a Nia Jax fan at all.
Wow.
I find her very sloppy, very amateur. I'm not a fan at all. Ronda Rousey, I have to say I was totally against, because I'm really against her whole kind of shtick about I'm not a do-nothing bee, and like how her language is, and how she's, could be this, she has this wonderful platform to be this strong female empowered character, or person really, let's not even say character. And she always kind of takes the crass road. I'm not a huge fan, but when I saw her at WrestleMania, I was there live to see it. She was so on point and so great that if I have to give it to either of them, I guess I'll say Ronda Rousey. But yeah, that's a popcorn / champagne break for Val.
All right, I'm
harsh. Sorry, I'm just trying to be truthful here, though. Hey.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I think that people are complaining that it might be too soon for Ronda. At this point, Nia's kind of not really doing it. So let's put it on Ronda and let's just see what happens.
I just find her lackluster. Do you agree about Nia Jax? I just feel like she seems like her whole character is kind of confusing, and I'm not a fan.
Wrestling is something that is one of the most bipolar things in this entire world. And this is a prime example of that, where she went from being a heel to a babyface against Alexa Bliss, and she had that promo about bullying, and then she went on to basically bully a random person in the ring. It's like, well, no,
confusing.
It is confusing. So yeah, I'll agree with you that Nia Jax went from being somebody that I think a lot of people were hoping was going to be good to somebody where it's like, okay, we just want her off our TV now.
Thanks for coming, but bye. You can see yourself out.
We're basically.
And that sounds like I have to be truthful. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, basically, if this was American Idol, I'd be the Simon Cowell, and she would be the Paul Abdul, basically saying like, "Sorry, I'm just not feeling it." And it's like, yeah, no.
As nice as you are, Nate, you're basically trying to say it's a no from me.
That's a no from me. All right, so let's get on to another exciting matchup here. For the Intercontinental Championship, we have Seth Rollins, as I like to call him Seth Pool, against Elias himself, the heat generator that just knows how to keep hell just absolutely warm forever. I'm giving it to Elias on this one. I think it's finally time that they put the belt on him. It's one of those stars that you just can't deny anymore. He definitely knows how to create heat. Seth Rollins, he's good. He can do so much better. I think it's finally time to, even if they do like a deal where they do like a hot potato between the two of them for a month, I'm okay with that. I'm giving it to Elias on this one.
Well, I'm not a huge Elias fan. I don't take anything away from him. I think he's
blasphemy.
Yeah, I don't love him. I'm such a Seth Rollins fan. I have to give it to him 100%. I think he's just, again, the total package, good at everything. Great employee, great at talking, exciting, always controversial, can show aggression, but can show funny sides and wit, and in the ring is just incredible. I also love his choices in outfits. He's always very, changes outfits a lot. I appreciate that for his wardrobe changes. But I have to say, if this was a competition of who I think will probably win, I think Elias will probably win. But I would prefer Seth Rollins to win, and that's what I'm going to go with because I feel loyalty towards him from such a fan. I think he's absolutely incredible.
He really is. All right, we have the WWE Championship matchup, which pitched Shinsuke Nakamura taking on AJ Styles. Val, who have you got?
Well, I was at WrestleMania for the Shinsuke AJ match, and I don't know, honestly, I don't know what happened. It was a shift in the atmosphere. I don't know if it was the placement of booking, but before I continue, did you feel the same way, Nate, that like when they wrestled at WrestleMania, it was sort of like some kind of weird disconnect, right?
It did feel kind of weird. I think it was the ending that really kind of took me for a loop. It's like everything else that was building up to it. It's like, okay, this is a good matchup, but then Styles clash out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. I'm like,
it's like you had all the makings for a great match, right? And then it got really weird. So for that reason, I hope to goodness that it's no matter who wins, which of course I'm excited for AJ Styles to win, so that is my pick, AJ for sure. But I think Shinsuke is very unorthodox and cool and, like, something we've never really seen before. He's his own person. He's very original. And I do hope AJ wins, but I just hope to goodness it's a standout match that should have happened at WrestleMania, because I know they've tried it before, but we know what they're capable of separately, and together, I want them to make that magic that I don't know if it's just, maybe the pressure's on, I'm not sure what it is. And I know AJ personally. I mean, I'm sure if I were to talk to him one-on-one in the dot, not that I'd be, like, picking up the phone like, hey, what happened there? But what the hell was that? Oh, my money back. No, I would never say that. That was a great match. But when somebody has a little bit of weird chemistry that's off in a night. And when I was there to witness that, not only that, the fans were so tired. It was a weird placement on the card. I just want it to be a fantastic match for the fans. I really, really do. But I am going to go with AJ.
I'm in agreement with you. I'm going to go with AJ as well. For one reason only, and that's because SummerSlam needs to be headlined by AJ Styles as WWE Champion and the challenger, Samoa Joe. Try to convince me not to see
perfect.
that.
Well, that's my whole turf. That sounds right up my alley, because who more than me would appreciate that?
I could see you just swimming across the pond just to see that matchup at SummerSlam.
You guys, give me a ticket. I'm there.
All right, so now we move on to the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, and we'll actually do something very interesting with this. Since it is a Raw versus SmackDown event, both of us are going to pick one person from Raw and one person from SmackDown to make it a little more interesting. Obviously, with a couple of other predictions I'm going to have posting up, it's going to be a different deal, but for just simplification's sake, we're just going to make it simple for us. So, I'm going to give you the names, and you just let me know which one from Raw and which one from SmackDown you want to pick. So, Val, we have the first ever true women's Money in the Bank ladder matchup. We have Ember Moon, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Sasha Banks from Raw. Becky Lynch. Did I have that right? No, I do have it right. Wait. Nope, I'm wrong. Raw has Ember Moon, Alexa Bliss, Natalya, and Sasha Banks. SmackDown has Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Lana, and Naomi.
I have to go with Raw. I have to go with Sasha Banks. I think she's just proven herself time and time again. I think she'll go down as one of the most impressive, amazing performers in women's wrestling history. And she's super young, so imagine what she's going to do, like, in the future. My God, I can't even imagine. From the other side, I'm going to have to say Lana from SmackDown. I just feel like it's her time, and I feel like, I say it's her time, but I also feel like it would just be exciting, because I don't think anyone expects her to pull out this big win, but I think she needs that. I think she's so entertaining, and I love her. Those are my 2 picks.
All right, well, for Raw, I will go with Ember Moon, just because she's a young lion, and I think she definitely deserves the opportunity. And for SmackDown, my girl Becky. Give her something good. Let her be the one that climbs that ladder and wins it. She definitely deserves that. She's one of the 4 horsewomen.
She does. I love Becky too.
Just give me Becky Lynch as women's champion again, and for the love of God, turn her heel. That would be absolutely amazing.
Oh, Becky as a heel would be fantastic, right?
It's history. It's right there. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks were 2 of the best heels in NXT. Bring that back, please, for the love of God. But before I get too much of the rant,
it's a good thing Vince is listening, right, Nate? Because, you know that our predictions are going to go.
They probably are. But
of course.
So,
we'll get a royalty check in the mail. Be good.
Oh, gosh, I would love that. All right, so for the quote-unquote main event, it'll be for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have, from Raw, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Bobby Roode, and Kevin Owens. And then we have on SmackDown side, The Miz, Rusev, Samoa Joe, and a member of the New Day, which has not been announced yet, but we will say this, that if one of us were to pick a member of the New Day, we'll count that as a New Day pick. So if you just say New Day, then that's fine. Whoever it is.
It's really hard from the Raw side, because I love Finn Balor. There's so many good people to choose from, but when I saw the card and I saw that he was confirmed, Bobby Roode, I wouldn't even say it's his time. It's always been his time. He's been the most I use the word polished very carefully. He's the most polished wrestler ever. And, I can't even help but choose Bobby Roode. He's the perfect person to be a WWE champion. I would just absolutely lose myself and get emotional if he won. I think he deserves it more than anybody. from the SmackDown side, I will say Samoa Joe, because I know he's had some, injuries here and there. I think he would be an amazing, win as well. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like a little TNA-centric here, but I just have to go with what I think is the best scenario.
It's fine. We are in agreement with Raw. I do think that Bobby Roode should come out victorious, because that would be glorious. Let's face it.
Glorious and victorious?
Yes, exactly. And honestly, I'm actually going to be cosplaying as Bobby Roode during that event. So,
oh my God, we need pictures. Please tag me.
I will. It's literally going to be one of those moments where it's like, yes, I'm a Bobby Roode fanboy. Yes, I have a championship belt on me. Yes, I have the Money in the Bank briefcase. It's going to happen. As Dave Bautista would say, deal with it.
Do you have a Money in the Bank briefcase?
I do.
That's amazing. There was a cosplayer that came up to me at a Comic-Con recently, and I was like, you are full throttle with the Money in the Bank briefcase. It's amazing. I mean, where'd you get it?
I got that from WWEshop.com. Thumbs up, smile, ding.
Little plug. Well, what's great is, I would hope that when you travel, you're going to travel with that briefcase. That would just tickle me to see someone, on a train or a plane with that briefcase.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna have to make that a thing just for you. Every day, I'll just have a picture of the Money in the Bank briefcase, just a random Money in the Bank briefcase right there. Be like, for SoCal Val, Money in the Bank briefcase. Am I cashing in on Sunday? I'm not telling.
Hashtag always ready.
Right, and for SmackDown side, I'll tell it to you guys like this, because there's only one way to do it for this superstar, because every day is Rusev Day. In English, eat your heart out.
Nice.
So I'm going with Rusev on
SmackDown. Coming up for Aiden English's job.
Oh gosh, Aiden English just blocks me on Twitter. Damn it! I was kidding, Aiden. Come on, man.
I love him. I was actually so nervous to meet him when I first met him backstage. I was fine with Flair, fine with Hogan, but Aiden English was around. And I was like, I'm very nervous to meet you. He's like, really?
All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is our predictions, and that is going to wrap it up for another fun edition of the Game Changer with SoCal Val. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for being my lovely co-host for this episode.
You know what, Nate? It is so much fun. I think it's so cool we've integrated some movies in. It's so cool to talk about wrestling with someone who, and I always stress this, that we have our opinions, we have our banter here and there, but I think it's so cool that you support everybody and you just want to see everything happen for the greater good because you support the company, and I think that's great. I think that's awesome. So thank you so much for having me again, and I look forward to the next time, and I look forward to hopefully your punishment.
Oh boy, she is basically the dominatrix right now, and she's going to love every single bit of just punishing me right now. God dang it. All right, so before we go, Val, where can people find you? And do you have any special events that are going to be coming up that you would like to promote? Cheap plug, hashtag cheap plug.
Thank you for the cheap plug opportunity. So coming up, I have London Film and Comic Con, which is July 27th, 28th, and 29th. That's obviously in London. It's going to be a huge shindig. It's a lot of actors, and we've got Jason Momoa, we've got Meatloaf. There's so many different, the cast of characters is amazing. So go to showmasters.com to see all of the lineup there. That's my next Comic-Con. But of course, I do invite you to join my Patreon site, patreon.com/SoCalVal, for live chats with me and interactive stuff with me, exclusive photo shoots and video shoots. And Nate, we have to talk in about a month or so because I have a new project that I'm working on that I can't wait to tell you about. It might deserve an episode in its own, really. It's that exciting. But I'm going to keep you in suspense for now. All
right. Well, that is the SoCal Val way. I'm sorry, that's the California way, I should say.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, guys, you know where to find me. You know how to give us a like on Facebook. So with that being said, for SoCal Val, I've been Nate the Effing Great. Thank you so much for joining us here. Enjoy Money in the Bank weekend, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.